Welcome to 60s and Restless, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas holiday and are excited about 2021. I think this is an interesting time between Christmas and New Year's as we find that we want to kind of leave behind 2020. I think it's important to realize that 2020 is a sign for having 2020 vision, and it's been an important time for what we call the Great Awakening, whereas people are just starting to realize that things don't add up. And if you haven't done any research into that yet, of what's really going on, you really need to. I'm sure you're hearing stories, especially in other countries, of the vaccines being given and the catastrophic effect on some people's lives from that. I can't believe people, I guess I can believe it because I was once that person, that you have somebody inject something into your body without saying what's in that, what are the ingredients, what are the side effects, what are the risks. Instead, people just roll up their sleeves, and it's already been said, even after the vaccines, that people are going to have to wear masks forever. And even the masks say it can't protect you from anything. And yet it's just really a conformity time. So I think people over 60, that we have lived through a lot more. We have had more life experiences. I know I personally remember a time where people weren't on welfare, where people could afford a major medical health policy making next to, minimum wage. And you were able to get by, and you were able to afford a car and take a vacation and go out to eat on very little money. And so something huge has happened that has changed our nation and around the world, and the whole world is watching us right now to see how we respond to what has happened and if we're going to turn that tide around and change things. But I recently watched something really interesting. It's called JFK to 9/11, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. It's like a 3-hour video on YouTube. I highly recommend you watch it. So that you have some kind of groundwork as to what's been behind the scenes all these years while we were busy, raising families and working and doing our thing. We suddenly find ourselves in a totally crazy situation where we have, they want to chip us or give us certificates. We have to have this to fly, to travel, all these things that our liberties have just slipped away since early this year. And so the background of that, I think this video does kind of barely scratch the surface, but a good job of explaining somewhat of why we are where we are today, and kind of takes you up to, 3-4 years ago. So I highly recommend it. Again, it's JFK to 9/11, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. And it's a very interesting video. So I recommend you watch that in this time of Great Awakening and opening our eyes and questioning everything. And I think it's a time for all of us who are older to be brave. A lot of people are going to be finding out things that are just very unnerving and that you can't imagine that people would ever do. And, in our naivety and our ideals, that people would ever, do these cruel, devastating things. It's just kind of outside our frame of reference, and we're going to need to be brave. We're going to need to be able to explain to generations below us that it's okay. We can always learn new things. We can always adjust to a new set of circumstances, and we can retain our liberties and make this world a better place. So we're going to need to have a very positive and comforting and compassionate view in 2021. And I do wish everybody a very happy new year, and that we can be optimistic about what's around the corner. But it is going to be eye-opening as 2020 has been. So continue the Great Awakening and have a really merry and happy new year.